cue the show. Sound surrounding, the screen will glow. Grab your popcorn, settle in. Movie magic's about to begin. Techthusiasm, the lights, cue the show. Sound surrounding, the screen will glow. Grab your popcorn, settle in. Movie magic's about to begin. Techthusiasm, turn it up to...
Hello and welcome, folks. We are at Monday, December 8th, Techthusiasm Live podcast. Grab your popcorn and get ready to go. Hope you saw the intro. Hope you like the intro. I'm still digging on the theme music. It's a catchy little jingle, I think. So we have some stuff to talk about tonight. It was an eventful weekend, an eventful Friday night in particular. Super fun weekend. So the TCL QM9K is up. There's been a lot of comments, likes, and feedbacks and stuff, questions and concerns even posted in the comments and whatnot of the sharings that I made over the weekend to the post of the pictures, and then I put up a couple of shorts that we captured during the actual install event. Of course, the fun stuff, pulling the big old plastic film peel off of the screen. We'll see. I hope. I'm eager to see if that one goes viral like the one Samsung one that I have did. I don't even know what that one's at right now. I'd have to check, but I think that hit like some millions of views already, or at least in excess of 1 million views. So I'm hoping that the TCL one flies just as high as that one did. But we had some fun. We had some fun Friday night. A friend came over, thankfully, because I couldn't have hefted that monster by myself. My wife was out of town as well. I don't know that she could have lifted it and helped as effectively either, though, given the heft and weight and size and whatnot of that TV. But I've been playing with it. There's been a lot of concerns posted, buzzing noises and other things. It's kind of funny that, like, I feel like there was a very positive sentiment most of the year about like TCL TVs and whatnot. And now I guess the Andrew Robinson video came out, and I haven't watched it actually. I was going to go check that out before the stream, but I wasn't able to. But no buzzing, I will say that. But we'll go through. We'll talk about it. So that's what I'm figuring is the main topic for today. We'll muse on the installation of the 9K. I do have a bunch of footage that my son filmed with the gimbal, the handy cam, while we were doing it. So as I'm talking, we'll talk. I'll show that. I'll play that footage here. I will be making a vlog out of that footage, of probably a voiced over vlog as well, because we really didn't talk while we did it. But he captured the footage, and adding some embellishments and stuff to that. So we'll jump into there in just a minute. Say hello to some folks. Julius, Lawless, Chintaput, welcome. Some of the regular friends turning up already. So I appreciate it. If you're out there, if you're listening, please hit the like button. If you would, drop a comment. Let me know who's there. Let me know what you have going on. What have you been doing in your home theater setups, your AV setups, your entertainment experience since the last podcast last week. So as I mentioned, going into the weekend, I was really, really hoping that the TV was going to be here. I didn't want to go through the weekend without the TV. And I was also hoping my other delivery was going to come, the Kaleidoscape server. And unfortunately, the Kaleidoscape server did not deliver. That's coming Tuesday, tomorrow now. So I have a 48 terabyte server on the way. Very excited to get that, load that thing up with movies, set up a bunch of collections and scripts, and customize some metadata and stuff like that. So I'll be doing that next as kind of the next project in the setup, and filming that and talking about that as well. I didn't think originally, I was hoping that the TV was going to be here by the Friday. Then I wasn't thinking it was going to. And then boom, I got the call from the freight company. They had it. They could deliver it on Friday, and everything would be good to go. Because it was a boys' weekend. We had another boys' weekend actually. So my wife was out of town, Raleigh, North Carolina, with my daughter for this like showcase soccer event. Not really a tournament, like showcase event, I guess they call it now. So they flew down Thursday. They took Thursday afternoon off, and got him to the airport. Got my son to his fencing activity and stuff because my wife was packing and getting ready to go. So dropped him off at the airport, and then Thursday to what should have been actually tonight, a little bit earlier this afternoon, but they ended up changing their flights back. There was their last game was early on Sunday. We got the schedule after the flights were booked, and because of the pricing, they were coming back Monday. So we thought we were going to have all the way from Thursday afternoon to Monday afternoon for Superboys weekend, but they changed the flight. It was worth paying a little bit more. Changed the flight, saved the hotel for Sunday night, and not just waste a dead day traveling when they didn't need to. And there's other stuff to do here, so they ended up flying back. They got back late Sunday night. So we had Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and then the bulk of the day on Sunday. So it was a nerdy weekend. We totally nerded out. We nerded out on electronics. We nerded out on toys and comics and movies and Star Wars and pop culture stuff. Some little bit of video games, not a whole lot of video games actually in retrospect, but we had a really good time, my son and I. So Thursday night, they left and finished up work and stuff like that. We ended up watching Star Wars. So my son had only ever seen A New Hope, and I was seeking to rectify that as we've been working on another project tangentially related to the channel that I'll be talking about here soon, a collecting project that may have involved and is going to involve Star Wars. And so I'm like, we got to get you through all these movies and all this content. So I don't have the Kaleidoscape server, but I realized this a while ago that if you have a Strato V or E and a server, and your server ever goes down, it's nice because if you have to, you can store movies right on the player. If you have a Strato C and you don't have your server or access to your server for a moment, you actually can't use the system at all. So I reconfigured the E for the theater without a server so that we could download and watch some movies in here, and so we were able to watch Star Wars on Kaleidoscape. So we did A New Hope Thursday night. Friday I worked, he did his schoolwork, stuff like that, and then Friday was TV day. So my buddy, one of my best friends, longtime best friends, he came over right around dinner time, right at the end of the workday, and my camera flipping off here. He came over right at the end of the workday, and I think we had the TV. We started around 5, and we had the TV hung and initialized and configured and set up by about 8:30, or no, actually probably about 7:30, actually 7:30. We stopped for dinner in between there. We ate dinner in between there. Setup took a while. I'll get to that in a second. But we were planning to watch basically a Star Wars movie every night through the weekend. But because that went a little long, and then we wanted to play with the TV more than come downstairs and watch a movie, and it got a little bit too late to start it anyway. We just messed around with the TV Friday night. So we tried everything, or just about everything. I have not enabled the Kaleidoscape on the TV yet, so I haven't seen high fidelity, high bitrate content on the TV. We had the Apple TV, or video content, I should say. We had the Apple TV connected and working, of course. Got the Nintendo Switch 2 connected and working. And then Friday night, we played some games on it, did some Mario Kart races and whatnot. And then a little bit of dabbling, setting up the PC and stuff like that as well. Saturday, got up, worked out, my son and I, and hit the weights on the tonal. Took him to his coding class. He's working on his next video game project. And then I came home and I did more kind of advanced calibration and stuff on the television set. So it took about an hour, I would say, setting up SDR, HDR, Dolby Vision settings and stuff like that. Shout out to Calibrated in his channel. He had a really great video, like QM9K, simple, good settings, basically boils down essentially to using filmmaker mode and then using one of the Dolby Vision modes as well. I'll talk about that as well. We'll go through kind of the whole TV process. Just want to kind of give the picture, paint the picture and all that first. So we got that set up, and then I picked up my son from his class about 1:30, and we spent the next 5-6 hours driving all around like northeast side of Detroit up to Utica, if you're familiar with the area. And we were going to hit 6. We ended up hitting 5. I think it was 5, like comic and collectible toy shops. So one of the stores that we wanted to go to was closed. So if you're into this stuff and you're familiar with the area at all, we had Time Travelers, Sarge and Red's, some pretty incredible stores, a couple of other stores in between there as well. We were on the hunt. For some collectible action figures and stuff for the project, the display project and whatnot that we're working on. We mapped a bunch of stuff out. We found some things that we were looking for and saw a lot of cool collectibles and toys and comics and games and all sort of stuff. So came back around home, grabbed some dinner on the way, grabbed a little bit of an ice cream, and then got home just in time. We started up Empire Strikes Back, so we watched that Saturday night, and then Sunday we got up and we were off pretty much right away to comic and toy show in the area here, Knights Hall. They do it. They do it almost every month of the year. So we found some cool stuff there. Didn't buy any collectibles per se, but we made contact with somebody doing some 3D printing for some cool comic stands and stuff that we're going to need in the revised display. So that was pretty fun. There's a couple vendors that we're starting to get to know that come to the show regularly as well. I bought a 1940s Captain America comic from one of the guys a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago now, actually. So chatted with some folks there. We ended up buying a couple little blind Lego minifigure packs from the Across the Spider-Verse movie. So opened those up. We didn't get any of the great hits though. There's a couple characters we were hoping might be in there, but we didn't get the big hits. So we came back home and then we're like, you know what? We should go back to one of those comic and toy stores that we visited and pick something up, pick up a couple figures, a couple of hot toys. So the prices were good. We could make an offer, and they have a couple characters we want, and it's a better deal than trying to get them on eBay or whatever. So we ran back out, another hour and a half out. Oh, and we went by another store as well, which was an awesome connection. We bought 3 figures there actually, and I'm going to be talking with the gentleman that runs that store. I think he may be instrumental in helping us build out this collection concept a bit. So anyway, so we did all that stuff. We came back, we did a afternoon matinee. We watched Return of the Jedi. So we completed the full original trilogy in the weekend. Son was jonesing on it now. He's completely like, his Lego brain is looking only at Star Wars sets now. He really liked the Star Wars trilogy, which I would hope it's in his DNA, just put it that way. So looking forward to now going back to the prequel trilogy, watch that, probably pick up Solo and Rogue One in between, and then watch the sequel trilogy. And then we'll probably jump into even some of the Disney Plus show content or whatever, maybe the cartoons, the Clone Wars cartoons and whatnot. So yeah, then we came back. We were checking out some of the figures that we bought, just kind of hanging out after we did the movie, and then off to pick up my wife and son from the airport. So that was fun. And that's a concept like memorabilia, movie memorabilia. I'm not saying that word right. Memorabilia is something that I want to chat about maybe next week or the week after, but in a coming live stream. I'm going to put up a poll tomorrow. So if you're watching this, please answer into the poll. I'm curious, or even feel free to post here. Who's into who do you own? We all pretty much probably collect movies here. We have some form of a movie collection, I suspect, or you wouldn't probably be watching this channel. You're into the home theater experience, the movie experience, but I'm curious, who collects other forms of stuff around the movies that they like? Statues, posters, figures, whatever form it may be. Do you own any memorabilia? Not official movie props and stuff. There might be some folks out there that are into that as well. But collectibles around the characters, the franchises, the licenses and stuff. I'm curious to see if folks own that sort of stuff. Do you own a couple minor things? Do you have actually like a big collection? Because part of what we're going to be doing with our new collection intent is building up a very nice set, essentially, of amongst other things, MCU, Marvel Universe, and Star Wars figures and stuff like that. And then a couple of other properties in that as well to kind of go along with the comics. And we're going to change the office over to these display cases and all this stuff. So that's a topic that we shall revisit another day. But let's get into the meat of the matter. There is now a 98-inch TCL QM9K hanging in the living room of the Techthusiasm household. A couple more shout outs. Classy, hey, how's it going? Welcome, my friend. And Westman 3319. Have a few things. Nice. Yeah, we've got a couple already. We got a big figure collection in mine. Hot Toys, if anybody's familiar with Hot Toys, pretty much the most premium action figures. Don't say dolls. Action figures that you can get on the market. All right, so 4 hours or so it took us thereabouts. Well, no, actually, what did I say? 5 o'clock to about 7:30. 2.5 hours. My math is off. 2.5 hours it took us to get this monster hung up and set in the room. and it looks nice. It really looks nice in there. So I mean, I got what I wanted out of the project. We opened up that cubby. We adjusted a little bit of the aspect ratio of the cubby in the process. This thing is sitting in there like inch and a half border on all edges. Maybe a little bit more of a border at the top than the bottom. Maybe like 2 inches to 1 inch, or not, maybe 1 3/4 to 1 1 1/4, something like that. I don't mind that per se. A little bit more opening on top so the heat can kind of there's just openings so heat can flow, heat can convect out and whatever. There's nothing behind the TV still, well, except the Nintendo Switch is the only thing back there still now. The Apple TV is not back there, whatever. So there's not a whole lot of things like heating up the space. And again, this is like an exterior wall. If anything, I need to put some plastic over the little access panel where the cables and stuff come through, because you can put your hand next to that. It's cold outside now, whatever, like 15 degrees, 15 degrees here today in Michigan. You can just feel the cold air kind of coming through. Um, and so, like, that TV is basically getting cooled. It's getting cooled by the outside air kind of drafting in behind it. So, but it works, man. It dropped, boom, it dropped right in there. So nice, so clean. It's so big. The image is so much more impactful. I can safely say now that barring anything beyond my choice, I won't be going to a smaller television in a living room setup again. Certainly not in this household, or if we have to move. I've long said that if we had to move, we had to get rid of the theater space. I had to have one entertainment system. It was a living room setup that I would be looking very, very intently at a 100-inch screen, flat panel display, and a 2/2.2 channel super premium audio system. And I would be completely happy with that experience. And I didn't even have to move or downsize to get it. So we've been able to implement that and get it here now with this television, and of course the utopias, the focal utopias and everything flanking it. This is a very considerable system with very few pieces of just like high performance elements going on here. But yeah, the difference between 83 and 98 it's pronounced. It's very visible. It's very noticeable. It's very impactful. We played a little bit of Mario Kart with my friend, so it was 3 of us, so you're still, even with 3 people, you're playing basically the equivalent of 4-player split screen, and, oh, it's just so much better than on the 83. Um, a 98-inch TV, we basically have the equivalent of a 44-inch display, whereas on the, um or no, sorry, 48-inch display, whereas on the 83-inch, you're looking at about whatever, just slightly over a 40-inch display. Big difference in the presentation of that. We didn't jump into. It was really over the weekend. I really wanted to play some of the Hyrule Warriors, where we were split screen top and bottom, because I felt on the 83 that like it's so constrained, and it just doesn't feel big enough splitting the screen horizontally. But on this, I think it'll feel a whole lot better. Um, we didn't get a lot of content time. I wanted to watch some cartoons with my son, some shows, some streaming shows and whatnot. For the most part, what I've watched the most of has been YouTube the last couple of nights, like after he went to bed or whatever. I was sitting down in the living room, turning the TV on, and just playing some live streams and stuff that uh, from some other topics that I am interested in the background while I was doing some laptop work and stuff like that, sitting on the couch. And it's big, it's bright, um, but it's not without some other concerns or differences and stuff as well. So let me go back here. We'll play some of this video as we go. I'm not going to play the audio, but we'll just let kind of these run in the background. So yeah, it's delivered midish afternoon or so. I was actually wondering if they were still going to make it. Were they still going to come? Because the delivery window was like 8 to 2, and it was getting close to 2 o'clock. I'm like, okay, where are they? So I called the freight company, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's still on its way. The driver, he's running a little bit late. He had something else come up, whatever, but they'll be there." So it came, roughly on time or whatever. Wrapped up this big double pallet. Man, these guys, I don't, I it freaks me out now. Given all the equipment that I deal with, getting projector deliveries, subwoofer deliveries, and stuff like that, getting the stuff for myself, getting stuff that I'm selling to customers and whatever. I don't know how these guys don't drop like big heavy equipment off the back of a lift gate like constantly. Um, I would be so like I was so nervous. I don't know how this thing stayed on that tiny little lift gate on this truck to get down to the ground and not take a fall, especially mounted vertically as it is of all things, right? And 100 and whatever, 130 some pounds boxed up. But he did it to his credit. And I haven't seen anything fall off. Some of these guys though, man, they make even my son, I'm like, get away from the lift gate. He kept walking up close to look at it. I'm like, dude, get back, get away from the lift gate. That TV will crush you in a way that we do not want to have you crushed. So there was also a little bit of a concern that we might have had the wrong TV coming. Actually, apparently there was like a warehouse mix up, whatnot, and so somebody um, on Friday, I think, or one of the deliveries that was out, somebody ordered a 9 and was getting an 8. Like, oh man, I hope it's not me because if it does, then everything's going to have to be reset. They're going to have to reship it. This thing's going to have to get picked up and go back. And, how long is that going to take? So I wasn't looking forward to the prospects of having to wait. I really wanted to get this thing in and using it and get it done. So nobody knew what it was as well. So it's like the driver has to come, open the truck, cross our fingers, and hope it says, QM9, and it did. So I got lucky. Somebody else was the unlucky delivery of the day. So it came loaded on this double pallet, wrapped up in the plastic with these big bindings and stuff. So the box was kind of bound with those extra pieces of cardboard on those upper corners, and then the white, or no, sorry, the white ones were on the box. The black bindings is what attached the box to the pallet. So cutting all this stuff off the pallet, and yeah, that was pretty much it. So then it was loose enough to be able to kind of grab it. Nice double handhold, thankfully, on both of the edges there. You can see there's like the kind of the one opening, and then the black piece. So in order to open the box, as we'll get to in a minute here, but you kind of pop all these black bits and pieces off, and then the box kind of opens up in a certain way. So again, me and my friend, we were able to get this kind of no problem. 130 some pounds. I think the TV is like 120 pounds itself. 10, 15 pounds of packaging straight up here through the garage, just up like whatever it is, 4 or 5 steps right up into the house there, and away we went. Let's check a couple questions while that finishes playing here. So did I get this one? Oh yeah, Westman sent you a few things. Rand, welcome. And the wall looks more flush before we had the 83. The wall looked more flush. No, it's definitely more flush now. Like everything fits in there so well right now. It looks like an ornament hanging in that pic. Had to do a double take thinking you installed a disco ball in there. Oh yeah, no, that's yeah, that's our Christmas ornaments. We had them hanging from our recess lights. Julie is saying, you train martial arts in younger days. Collect your Bruce Lee posters. Nice. Full figure of him in the box now. Awesome. Yeah, I have some movie posters that I need to open up and go through and probably sell off actually. So we got it in, just kind of set it in like this little bit of holding space between our kitchen, dining, living room area. And then from here, we kind of moved it all the way in. We were trying to figure out, okay, which side is the front? Because what we wanted to do was get it open in the box and kind of have it hold in the box, screen facing out. We could attach the brackets, and then we'd be able to just lift it right up, onto the wall mount. So, here we go, cutting off the white ones now to get the box open and start getting inside to the bits and pieces. So. Thanks to my son, he was running the film on all the gimbal. Jump ahead a little bit. So basically we cut this thing open here. It's kind of like it opens like a V, right? So it doesn't come up off the top. You kind of like, you open it, I don't know, like a sandwich or something, but got to cut all along the top, cut the one edge out, cut all along the top. And then and then that opens up there, leaving the kind of the TV left. So then that outer piece, that outer shell, slides away nice and easy. And we did get it right. We had the front facing out like we were hoping to have it. Otherwise, it would have been tough at this stage. It would have been tough now to try to grab it and turn it around right in the space and whatever if we had worked it out that way. So more like cardboard pieces and whatnot, protection pieces, a lot of material. I mean, to ship this thing, God, it feels so wasteful, especially all the styrofoam. There's some pretty massive styrofoam. So here's the feet. It does come with feet, unlike the G series did, of course. So the feet were in the that upper section there. The cables, power cable, remote control, and bits and pieces are all in that one bag, instructions and everything. So from here, then it's just basically time to kind of start pulling bits and pieces off. This big old piece of cardboard is another interior like screen protector piece, and then it sits up against the styrofoam piece, and then this other piece of cardboard that has this extra styrofoam on it. Yeah, a lot of waste going out in the trash tonight. And then these other styrofoam pieces, they come off. They're basically three across the top, two on the sides, and then ultimately you basically get down to the kind of TV just standing freely. This is normal for the way a lot of televisions, bigger televisions, are packaged and managed nowadays. It's nice because you don't actually have to take it out of the box to interact with it and kind of get it set up and all of that stuff. You're able to just leave it freestanding, so you can attach stands and feet and all of that stuff. And even actually the way if you were putting the feet on it, not a wall mount stand and stuff like we were doing, you would be able to do that while the TV is supported by essentially the last remnants of the box, instead of having to try to lift the thing up and hold it and whatever in various positions. So those styrofoam pieces come off the edges. So that's how you could get, essentially to where the feet go. And the lower portion of the box opens up and ended up all nice and flat and simple. So I think here we did the big unveiling. So this was a snippet of what I put up on the shorts, pulling the big old plastic bag off the set. I mean, this thing was wrapped up, completely inside, as well underneath here. There are a lot of plastic to peel off. Not even just the big screen protection rip that I did, but a lot more than even that. So anyway, we're trying to make some fun content as we went, and so pulled this thing up and off. I almost couldn't get it. It's like so big. I had to like grab at it a couple different ways and get the big old piece of plastic off the top. Those white strips on the left and right, that's like some more extra pieces of foam, and then that stuff is all taped on. So yeah, that was the short. We'll just skip that. So then we're around to the back side. I did validate prior to it being delivered. I did validate that my mount is good. It's a strong Snap brand, strong XL mount. It's good. I'm going to forget the rating now. It's like good for a 200 plus TV. And they rate it up to like 90 inches. This is 98 inch, but it does way more than the rated weight. So we're good on that. And it does up to like an 800 by 600 VESA pattern, I think it is. And this TV, I'm going to forget all the particulars. I think this TV is like 600 by 400 or 500 by 400. So again, no problem and stuff with the brackets. I did, in terms of the screws and stuff like that, the hardware that I got with the mount worked fine. We realized when we were working on it that when I took the brackets, these same mounting brackets off of the G2, the screws and washers and spacers that were on the G2 must have come from the prior mount, because the same size screws were in the box for this mount. So I had Dan DiCarlo, my friend at AudioVision, he's been on the channel a bunch. He mounted the TV last time, and I actually wanted to have him over to help me mount it, get everything set in the Control 4 control and stuff like that. He wasn't able to come this week though. So it's like, all right, I need an alternative. We'll just do it ourselves and then get with Dan later for the Control 4 setup. So, but in the box for the mount was the hardware. It's like M8 screws. I forget what the millimeter length was. But the box had a couple of different lengths of M8s, one that was a little longer than we needed, but it came with spacers, and so everything works out kind of the way that you need it to. Lawless asking, what's the retail and street price of the TV? So original retail was 6K. I actually Ren commented there as well. The street price is a little higher than that now, unless you're finding it somewhere. But original retail was 6,000. It was very quickly discounted to 5,000, right? Like pretty much within a week or two of it being released. Going into Black Friday, it was down to $39.99. That's the cheapest that I had seen it listed anywhere. And then after Black Friday this week, it was back up to $49.99. So the street price from Best Buy is 33. Really? Wow, that's even better than it had been at. It did go back up. I did check it. It was the Black Friday price was $39.99. I didn't buy from there, of course. I have direct access to this brand like I do others. So I was able to buy. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're looking at, my friend. I don't know if you're looking at a different model. 98 QM9K Best Buy is $49.99. Not 33.46. The lowest price was that I saw for Black Friday was $39.99. That's why I pulled the trigger when I did, because obviously the dealer prices change with the street prices and whatnot. Is the TV OLED? This is a mini LED. Yep, not an OLED for sure. Yeah, open box. Oh, employee pricing. Okay, well that's not street price. Yeah, open box, not new. Yeah, brand new. You go to Best Buy if you go to Best Buy to buy this TV right now, it's $49.99. $1,000 off. It was down to $39.99. Black Friday stuff. Terminator, welcome. Hello. Okay. So one of the things that I was not worried about, but again, I validated the pattern, I validated the weight, so we were good to go on the mount. Everything was good there. I was not concerned, but it would have been a pain if we would have had to move the mount on the wall. And so these brackets here, it's hard to show, but on the top sections they have holes. There's like probably 8 different holes, all of course, all at different heights. And then the bottom section is a big big open, it's not an oval, but it's a big open slot so that you can move this thing up and down on the back of the TV to get certain heights and whatnot. So while I was getting stuff ready and whatnot, my buddy kind of measured stuff out and he's like, all right, it looks like we want to use the third or fourth hole down on the bracket, and that lined up fine for the big slot at the bottom. So success. We did not have to take the mount off the wall. Where the mount is located right now was in a great spot to be able to put the bracket on the TV in a good spot and have it hold the television. Again, all the hardware was in there. The screws, the washers, the spacers. I got my glasses on there. Can't see what I'm doing in the darkness behind the TV that close. But yeah, so basically, installation was about as easy as I could have hoped for. Get the bracket on, the 2 brackets on rather, and then we had it sized right in. We didn't have to take it off. Worst case, we would have had to move the mount. Next worst case, we would have had to pull the TV back down and shift the bracket, up or down by a hole, but everything lined up the way that we wanted it to. Nice build out, I would say overall on the television. It feels like a quality set. So I really do believe like TCL is stepping up the game, right? They're really coming to challenge the big 3, LG, Sony, and Samsung, with their sets, with their build, with their quality, performance, all of that stuff, and then really challenging them on the price point, the value proposition as well. So I think this is this is a longer video. So yep, here we got it up, lifting it up right out of the styrofoam, slide it right on to the mount, and we're good. Didn't fall. Look of relief, sigh of relief on my face there. So I heard no crashes. It hasn't come down yet, so I think we're good. I think it's holding One thing that I didn't plan on after I got to the step of, like, actually starting to kinda wire it up is it's so big, I need lights behind the screen, behind the TV, because you pull it out and it's so big, it casts shadows, it's kinda hard to see back there. We did have to shift it, of course, a little bit, left to right. We worked on the yaw. I do have a little it's tilted forward just ever so slightly. We did try to adjust the tilt of the display, and we have it all the way up, but I don't know. I think one of the screws, one of the tilt screws is not, it doesn't tighten on the mount as much as I need it to still. And so that's contributing a little bit, to a little bit of the forward sag, but in any case, the way where it's mounted, sitting down, we actually want it to be tilted a little bit, just a hair. It's not like it's like this or anything. But it's not straight up and down. It's just ever so slightly tilted. I'll probably play with that a little bit more. See if I can't get that screw, one of the lock-in screws, to just thread a little bit more, or thread a little bit stronger. But yeah, we were good to go. We didn't have to move it, so, tilt and sideways adjustment was pretty much all there was. So from here on out, cleaning out, getting stuff out of the way, we were able to basically work with the set hanging up on the mount. And man, it fits the cubby. It fits the cubby so nice. Um, just checking leveling. So this mount has everything, right? It telescopes out and back. The way the brackets are, you can slide left to right. You got a bunch of play sliding left to right. You have tilt, adjustment, and you also have, the like rotational adjustment as well. So with all of those elements, you can get it locked in real nice and level, up there. There are a couple of screws that go on the underside of those brackets that we put on the TV that lock it in. So they kind of have hooks built into to those brackets. So you set those hooks right over the top of the top part of the bracket that's part of the wall mount, and then the other one kind of sits up against it, and then you screw these screws vertically up behind it, and that kind of cinches in and locks in the bottom. So let me skip ahead a little bit here. We're just kind of measuring things out, making sure we have enough left and right, distance, and then pull it out. So you can see here it was actually sagging forward a little bit more. We were trying to it's hard for my son to get the stuff on video because there's not a ton of room to work. Just enough room for me to kind of shimmy back there and stand. But plenty of room to work, but it's just, it's tight, just like going behind the rack or whatever it might be. So here I was trying to get that tilt adjust. Oh, actually, sorry, I wasn't doing the tilt yet. So here I was getting those lower screws in. This is like the most awkward position to screw a screwdriver that I think there might be. Vertically upward while you're trying to turn those screws. And they're very long, so you have to sit there and twist and twist and twist and twist. I really need to get myself like a hand drive electric screwdriver, just not a huge one or anything, just a small battery, hand driven. So hold it like a screwdriver, push it in with some pressure, and then push a button, zip zip, and be good to go. That would make like all the rack work and rack screwing and all that stuff a whole lot easier to do all the time. So I got the one on the one side done, and then here's doing the one on the other side. Let's skip to the next video. And again, I will be cutting all this together into some kind of an edited thing. So here's where we're trying to adjust the drop. So loosening those screws, it starts, it naturally kind of wants to fall forward. We're trying to hold it up into a strong vertical position, and then tighten these screws down, um, and get it sitting, like, again, get it sitting vertically the way that we want it to. Just saw the comment about the mount, so I just wanted to make sure to mention here. I can probably put this, if I can find it. That's the large. I think we can get it here. Yeah. So, here, I'll put this link in here. for what I'm using. This mount is set for placement. Come on, where's the spec? 200 pounds. So it's good for almost the weight. Yeah, this is the mount. It's good for almost double the weight of the TV. The TV's 120 pounds. Yes, that's what Ren was saying. Interesting, your mount works for it. Best Buy makes people buy 90-inch use special Sanus Elite one. Yeah, so this is strong. Strong mount. Again, it's rated for 90-inch. They say that, but I think they only said that because it's an older mount. Um, maximum TV size, minimum TV size, vested mounting patterns covers all the way up to 800 by 600, I think it is, but 200 pounds. The large version of the mount would actually have held it anyway. It's 150 pounds, but this is 200. So it's locked in there, solid and tight. And behind the TV, we have that whole section is plywood, very, very strongly secured directly to the studs of the wall. So it's solid. I could hang and do some leg lifts and whatever on that mount. So I think we were getting ready for the peel here. So we'd already taken off the rest of the taped pieces, the edge borders and stuff like that. So it ripped on me. I was really trying to get it. I wanted to get it all in one solid shot, and it kind of tore. Again, it's so freaking big. I tried to rip the plastic off, like to go up and around where it tore, and I couldn't manage it. Fail on the pole. But so we got it all off in two pieces there. That's the short. So that was the end of kind of the install vloggy bits. I'll just leave this up kind of while we're continuing to talk, and talk a little bit about the setup in the picture, first impressions and stuff like that next. Julie's asking, will you eventually get this professionally calibrated? Maybe. I won't go out of my way to bother. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's like super, super necessary, but if I have some calibrator friends over for one reason or another, or some other things happen, then I'll definitely consider it. But I'm not going to go out of my way to try to make that happen. I think if if we change the screen of this theater out to like the 17:9 taller, bigger Stewart screen and eliminate the lens and some stuff like that. And if like Sammy or Chris or one of those guys happens to be kind of coming through or near the area, I might have them come back to redo the calibration on the projector. And if they're here, I mean, might as well do the calibration on the TV potentially. Sammy was going to calibrate the G2 when he was here, but we really spent all of the time he had available to hang out down here in the theater, and then took a break and had dinner and stuff like that. So it's like we didn't have time to get to the TV. But at the end of the day too, I'm not sure. I don't know how long this will be here, to be honest. So this could be here potentially for a little while. Probably at a minimum, this TV is here 4 to 6 months, I would guess. I'll be using this. There will be possibility to swap that the next TV could be a swap over to the G6, 97-inch G6 and I don't know, it's a matter too. I don't even know when that TV might become available. Presumably all of that and many others will get announced in a couple of weeks at CES in January. But is it going to be available to order in February or March or April or May or June? Who knows? So whenever it becomes available, that'll probably be my next big possible change, would be to go back to the OLED, go back to LG, super, super premium, like maximum quality and whatnot. So in some respects, if the TV is only going to be here for 5-6 months, it's actually pointless to bother calibrating it, or getting, spending the money or whatever and time and effort and energy to get it professionally calibrated. I'll just use it as it is. And even then, like, I'm probably going to be, from this point forward, I'm probably on a yearly TV cycle by virtue of the business and the channel and all of that stuff. I want to be able to do more up-to-date TV content. So sticking with the same television for 3 years and whatnot. The content is out of date within 6 months of the TV shipping. So Ren G6 going to be 45K. What? You think so? I mean, I think it should be cheaper. I'm hoping it's like 18K. The G5 was 25,000 MSRP. So we'll see. I'm hoping to see some really cool things at CES that will drive the next decision. But we'll see what LG does. If I'm drawn to the 97-inch G6 or some equivalent, cool. If I'm not, if I don't feel that the price is right or the value for all of the expenses there, then I won't go that way. Maybe I'll go another way. All I know is that I'm in for this size. So I am now I will now permanently be at this size, 97, 98, 98 inches. Of course, it has to fit in the cubby. So 100 inches is probably too big. So we're at 97, 98 is going to be the size going forward for sure. In terms of whatever that may be. Maybe it'll be another TCL, whatever QM9L or whatever is the next one. If that's an RGB mini LED or RGB LED, whatever all they're going to do next year, it'll be interesting to see. But I do expect to upgrade this next year, sell this thing. It'll be really interesting to try to sell this thing, and and see. So there'll be yearly TV used deals available in the Detroit metro area and very large format sizes coming up. So somebody is going to take advantage of the opportunities and score some TVs in the years ahead. Terminator. Oh, my big decision is whether or not to buy Joe's Mad VR and or an Anthem AVM 70. Well, I would say get them both. If you can't make your decision between one or the other, just get them both. That's kind of like the rule, a good rule to live by in life. I think both of those would be a significant improvement for you. Yeah, Anthem and Arc Genesis and all that stuff. And then of course, if you really liked what you saw out of the Mad VR's processing, give it a shot for sure. Srin, need to look at the video walls. Yeah. So a lot of people have mentioned that to me. Like, I don't see what benefit a video wall adds to the setup though. It's going to be like decades before a video wall is affordable, like at this size. And like a video wall, like you can already literally buy this television at a good price to fill the spot. Like I don't need to assemble panels and stuff. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. So again, you'd be better off getting an AWOL video or something. I'm not sure unless you guys are talking about the theater. I just can't see that. I can't see that for the living room. Like how are those going to be better than well, yeah, because of size, but I can't fit that 135-inch 25K. Yeah, same price, I guess. MSRP price is a G5, but I can't fit that. There's no way that that's going in the room. 97, 98 is the size du jour of the living room setup. Okay, so let's talk about setup. So we fired this up, and this is where we got to the point where like it was starting to get late. We trying to eat dinner and do setup at the same time, and I didn't film. I should have kept a camera running through the setup of the television. Maybe I'll end up having to do like I'll do like a who knows. I'll just have to do like a factory reset. It's going to be a bummer. I'll do a factory reset of the TV and then go back through the setup process in order to be able to collect some video or stuff on it, or I don't know, maybe I'll skip that anyway. We'll see. But setup was pretty straightforward. Some login stuff. It's a Google TV, of course, so you have the opportunity to like log in to Google platforms. There was a couple different levels of updates that needed to be done. That took a little while. There was firmware update and such available for the TV. There was it has Gemini, so you gotta agree to everything. Of course, on these sets, it's got all these interactive elements and all this stuff. So you gotta kind of thumb through and whatever 15 different user agreements that you had to click through to get it to get to the point of actually using it. but essentially that was all that the base setup was, just kind of working your way through that. Again, logged into a Google account, you can have it tell it what apps you use and pre-download stuff and all that. Um, I wish I wish that didn't I wish there was a way to just say no to like all of that stuff. Like I don't want any of that. I just want a display. Um, Give me display with a bunch of good settings and picture and sound and input management options and stuff like that. I don't need my TV to be a smart display. I'm not using any of the TV apps. I'm not using the TV OS system. I'm not even using the tuner in the television either. I wouldn't even be bothered. I don't know if this has a TV tuner actually. But if all that stuff went out of my televisions and further reduced the price of the TVs, it wouldn't bother me. Wouldn't bother me at all. So we got it set up. I do like I do like certain aspects of the menu system. I will say a couple things. Like it's super snappy. You turn it on, you turn it off. It's real quick. You change inputs and the HDMI syncs and stuff. They're all super fast. And they're pretty clean. Like it doesn't fuzz. It just boom. It just clicks and the images come up. You change inputs, whatever. So that all was very nicely operationally represented. I'm using all four HDMI inputs. There are two like HDMI 2.1 inputs and two not. I wish they would stop doing that. Every TV should have four HDMI 2.1 inputs on it now. The two inputs that are super high speed are 144. I didn't specifically try that yet on the PC, but I'll get to that in a second. Um, there are only two USB ports. So I was curious about this. Like, um, is my plan going to work? Because if you go back to the vlogs when I was setting up the G2 with the new cables and the new wall build out and everything, um, the G2 had three USB ports, and I needed three USB ports to power the three HDMI 2.1 cables, the RUI Pro, pure fiber optics and stuff. You have to power them on the display side at a minimum. And so I had bought a hub, a 4-port USB powered only hub to plug in the HDMI cables so that the hub would distribute power to the three cables. Didn't need to end up using it on the G2 because the G2 already had three USB ports, but I did validate in the vlogs that it worked on the LG. And I can say successfully that it does work here as well. So I'm using the hub right now. It plugged into one of the USB ports on the TV. If I recall correctly, I think there was one USB 3 and one like USB 2. There was something different about the USB ports. Their rated speeds or something like that. Similar to the HDMIs. So yeah, the hub was working great. It's powering multiple cables and all the cables are powered and they were working no problems at all with handshaking, HDMI capabilities, bandwidth, any of that stuff. So that was all rock solid. I am using the optical output of the television. I hope with my setup demands, I hope and pray to all of the TV manufacturers, for the love of everything holy, please do not lose the optical audio output ports on your televisions. People with two-channel systems, that is a really great way to connect them to external audio systems. So I hope that as we go further in 2026 and beyond, that these televisions do not drop optical audio output ports. And of course, this one has one as well. So I'm using that. I'm using all the HDMIs. The hub, USB hub power idea worked for the cables. That was all perfect. And it's coming tomorrow or Wednesday, I think. I did not have a long enough Ethernet cable because, of course, this TV has all of its I/O on the right-hand side. So all of the I/O is over here, whereas most other TV manufacturers, it's over here. So I needed like a 6-7 foot Ethernet cable for wired Ethernet. And I only had like a 5-foot cable or something, about 1 foot less than I needed. But I ordered a couple Ethernet cables on Sunday. They'll be here Wednesday. So I'll be able to get it wired. I just hooked it up on Wi-Fi, but wherever possible, I like to reduce and diminish Wi-Fi and wireless connectivity around the household. I think for something like this, especially for if I were to be doing any streaming, and particularly for like command and control, network command and control integration, stuff like that, wired is always preferable. that was all the hardware IO. So we got stuff set up. We got the Apple TV set up. Everything was working as you would hope. I did go through the settings, input management, renamed all my inputs. One of the things that really bugged me about is LG is like way overzealous that like if something disconnects or something you plug something in, or even when stuff is plugged in and like the TV gets a firmware update, it loses the it loses your settings for that device on the HDMI input a lot, and it'll like rename it, and it'll constantly barrage you with like this thing supports like CEC or like HDMI control, and it's like stop telling me this stuff. I don't care. I don't want to use it, and I want you to stop renaming my inputs back to whatever the device is trying to tell you that it's named via the HDMI link, and stop changing the type of device that I was categorizing it as in the menus of the LG. So I feel like the TCL, that's a more stable process. Like the renaming and the input management and stuff like that is a little bit more stable. So I appreciate that. That was a pain point actually of the LG. Um, I went through all the other settings, picture settings and stuff. As I mentioned, Caleb's video on his channel, Calibrated, he basically recommended, Classy is still here. If you have anything to say on in terms of settings, let me know. Caleb had recommended filmmaker mode for SDR, HDR10, and then Dolby Vision is like kind of just pick which one you want to use. I'm currently using the Dolby Vision IQ mode. Figure why not give it a shot, see what it's all about. I did disable the ambient, like the automatic light sensor, to just kind of leave the brightness flat. I did go into the eco settings and I basically turned off the whole stack of like the eco settings and stuff, so you can access the TV's full brightness and all those things. Um, Again, filmmaker mode. I added a little bit of like the motion stuff. I basically did what Cal recommended: set the motion settings to custom, set them to 2. Um, so on the different picture modes and stuff. I like, similar to LG, you could do it as well. You can change the picture settings for a given input, or you can change the one setting and say apply to all. So that made it really easy. Apply to all, set all of that base stuff up, and then turn it off. There is a setting in the television for, I think it's called like Game Master mode or whatever. That's what TCL calls it. I did do a fixed turn on of game mode for the Switch and the PC, of course. Um, Rather than bothering with like ALLM. This is one of the reasons that I continue to hook up things up the way that I did before. Is I have 4 sources for this system. The Apple TV Kaleidoscape, Switch 2, and the PC, the 5090 gaming PC. So all of those inputs can be tailored exactly to what I'm using them for: gaming, non-gaming, etc., whatever. And I'm not beholden to external switching where it's hard to have settings change without manual intervention when you're switching externally and sharing an input on the television. We'll get to the gaming stuff a little bit more. I'll stay a little bit past 6, keep talking as we kind of get through some of these first impressions as well of the operation. I thought about doing the live stream upstairs, and maybe next week, perhaps we will. My daughter didn't have soccer practice today, so they're all up there. Maybe next week they'll be gone at soccer practice, and we can actually take a look at some menus and some of the presentation and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, settings are pretty straightforward. I was able to find that the audio settings. So, oh, and this, I appreciate this as well. In LG, please, LG, if you're watching this one, when I set my audio output, let me choose to only send the audio to the optical output and have that disable the TV's audio output. LG doesn't let you do that. To my knowledge and experience in the menu system, you can only choose like a doubling of the audio output, and it still uses the TV speakers and the optical port. So I had to just turn the volume down on the TV while the optical audio is also enabled, and the audio passes through that way. On this one, on the TCL, they're actually discrete choices. I can choose to say no TV audio output. So never get into a situation where like somehow, some way, somebody like ticked up the volume of the television speakers and they're playing at the same time the audio system is playing, and that's like goofy and doesn't sound right, and you have to go get the other remote out, turn the volume down, whatever. So I appreciate on the TCL that that's more of a discrete setting. And there is one, if you do that though, there is one other setting, and this is one of my other big that I was wondering about is like, um, can the TV function as like a Dolby Atmos decoder or a Dolby decoder? And it scared me at first because I there was one setting to basically tell it to do that, but the way the help on the setting was written, it was said it talked about like eARC. It didn't mention optical at all, but it was basically a decoding setting, and so it was buzzing in the back of my mind. I probably have to turn this to yes to get sound, um, but the way it's written, it's not indicating that I should. So the first material that we tried out, like we were getting system sounds, Apple TV system sounds, and stuff like that. And then I played a movie like just a whatever Despicable Me 4, I think it was. Um, it's like there's no sound. Oh, come on, what's going on? And the Apple TV was sending the Dolby Atmos signal to the television, but the TV wasn't decoding it and outputting the two-channel PCM uh, via the optical cable. But again, I'm like, I'm gonna go change this other setting, and sure enough, that was it. So that has all seemed to be working completely fine. All the audio, all the video stuff was working great. Um, I have to say, and I'll say this carefully, but my very first impression of the image that I was looking at just didn't it something seemed off, and I wondered at the time if it was like, um again, like the picture settings or something like that that I needed to tweak. I've tweaked them a little bit more, but I I don't know. My jury's still out on how it looks compared to my visual memory of the LG OLED. And it's not about like black levels. It's not about like I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I'm used to watching an 83-inch image in the room. Now it's a 98-inch image, and that naturally softens things up a little bit, right? You're taking the same content that you've been watching and you blow it up to a bigger size, and you're going to take a little bit of like a visual acuity hit. Um, but that's pretty subtle. But there was something about it. I even looked at my buddy and it's like I don't know. He's like, yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything. He's like, but I don't know. Like, yeah, like this might be something that we need to take some time with. So, and that was streaming a 4K movie Dolby Vision on the Apple TV. Now I have not hooked up the Kaleidoscape. I'm eager to do that. I just didn't want to bother. I knew the server was coming. It's coming tomorrow, and I redid the Kaleidoscape player in the theater because we wanted to watch Star Wars. We were going to watch Star Wars down here for sure. Those three movies. We were not watching those in the living room. Those were theater movies, 100%. Um, so I took the extra little bit of time to reset that player. I'll have to reset it again and then repair everything when the server comes. But I'm very eager to get the server tomorrow, get it set up, get some movies downloaded, and take a look at some Kaleidoscape content on the screen. Um, Real quick, the Switch 2, I thought it looked great, and I thought gaming was solid. Motion seemed good. Um, I was very happy with the performance and the image of gaming. We also fired up the PC. Um, we just swung around the city in Spider-Man 2, and we were getting everything that we were supposed to get. At first, though, we were not getting VRR, and in the NVIDIA panel, we had to click a couple of other things on specifically for like I keep wanting to say GeForce in my brain, but the why am I'm drawing a complete blank on NVIDIA's VRR implementation. And so it's like I feel like it was asking me to turn some stuff on that wasn't accurate to the television, um, or to the setup or G-Sync because it doesn't support G-Sync. But VRR didn't appear to be working as well. So I'm like, all right, we're just going to turn G-Sync on, and after that, then in the game overlay, VRR was enabled. Um, I so the game thing is interesting too. Like, I wasn't quite sure. Like, are we in game mode? Are we not in game mode? One thing that I do like about the TV, there's a 3-bar button on the remote. It pulls up the quick settings and stuff at the bottom, and then of course that strip is configurable. You can add things, remove things, and stuff like that. Um, I kind of like on the LG how when you're in a game mode and you hit settings, you get the game bar. If you're not in game mode, you get the regular settings, and you can get to regular settings through the game bar. In the TCL, you don't just get the game bar by default. Apparently, it took some Googling, some searching online to figure this out. You have to long press the triple bar pop-up menu button to get the game version of the menu up. And when you do that, it has different information at the bottom, and it has like other information at the top as well. I do like how the TCL has a frame rate counter. It basically has a refresh counter that you can show in the upper right hand corner of the screen. That's pretty cool. But I did notice that I don't know if I need to try it some more. If that refreshes, but if you pull up the game overlay, the game bar overlay, it was always like fixed at 120. Like the number, the FPS reported there was not changing with VRR, even though like the NVIDIA overlay, of course, was changing with the frame rate of the game. So I need to mess around with this a little bit more and make sure that everything's kind of good. I need to fire the PC back up. I need to pull up the TV's refresh rate hertz overlay relative to the NVIDIA overlay and make sure they match, make sure they're switching, make sure the VRR is working and all of that stuff. The other thing that I noticed as well is the when you pull up the game bar, there's a couple of basic settings that you can set, and then there's like some advanced settings. You have to go in there, and that's where you turn on the frame rate counter, and that's also where you turn on HGIG. Curious as well, folks and I need to research this more. Are you better off on a TCL turning HGIG on for gaming sources or not? I turned it on and I thought it looked fine, or I thought it looked good with HGIG on. But I also did notice that when I went on the PC, there's another setting under HGIG where you turn on ultra high refresh rates. So basically the 144 refresh mode. And if you turn that on, HGIG is disabled. So it's like, okay, I guess it can only do one or the other, kind of a bummer. Limitation of the processor or something, I guess, right? You can't do all the things. You have to choose between some of the things. And so I'm curious as well, I need to do research on this, or if anybody has a comment, drop it quick. Would you rather have 140 hertz? Would you rather have 144 hertz, or would you rather have HGIG? So I did on both the Switch and the PC, I did use the HDR calibration apps, adjust the slider till you can't see the white window and until you can't see the black window, stuff like that. So I did both of those, and then turning HGIG on should let the game system define the tone map and stuff of the HDR performance. Generally, my experience or understanding is that's a preferable way to do stuff. And probably I don't really need 144 hertz. I doubt I can really see the difference between 144 and 120 anyway. And if we're playing like newer games that are challenging even to the 5090, it's not going to get way up there anyway. I'm not going to turn game fidelity settings down to play at 144. I'd rather play higher fidelity settings and still be whatever at 100 FPS or 110 FPS. So I need to mess around with some of that stuff a little bit more. Let's get through some of these and then we'll probably be wrapping up here shortly. If you have other questions, comments, or anything, drop them in there. Drop them in there now. We're over the hour. Julius, are you still going to do a video of the Tableau? Yes. Actually, I've already edited now all of the from box to hardware installation and the initial setup and channel scan and some of the options and stuff like that. I need to refilm a little bit showing off the Apple TV app of the Tableau and then put a closer on it, and then I'll be done with that video. I hope to publish that video this week. That's my goal. Probably Thursday or Friday of this week, because tomorrow I've got the poll. I got a poll that I want to put out tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I'll quick film, edit the This Week in Kaleidoscope store, put that out Wednesday morning. So Thursday or Friday, I hope to put out the Tableau video. And then I'll probably, for the TCL stuff, I might even just make these part of the living room vlog. And so I'll just do like the physical installation, the stuff that we watched here, I'll probably do that as its own video, and then I'll do a separate video going over my impressions of the menus, the setup, and stuff like that. Like, so there'll be like a TV on, a TV off setup, and a TV on setup, part 1 and part 2. Get 2 pieces of content out of it like that, and not make it super long. Did TCL auto recognize the Kaleidoscape? I have not turned the Kaleidoscape on. Because I deinstalled my server, and if you want to use your players, they have to be reset and then reactivated within the system and stuff. Again, I only did that with the theater Strato because we wanted to watch Star Wars this weekend. Classy saying calibrated a 98 QM9K recently. Yeah, if you have any settings, feel free. I'm happy to look at them. Again, I took my inspiration for some starter settings from Caleb's video, and it's looking okay. So we'll see what happens after that. But if you have some suggestions, I'm happy to see them. Yeah, Terminator. Yep, bigger screen, less impressive image quality. Yeah, so that may be all that I'm experiencing, and it has nothing to do with like, LG versus TCL performance or picture quality. It's just it's a much bigger television, and at the same seating distance and whatever, it's going to soften up a little bit. But we'll see. Spliffy is saying love the game bar. Yeah, and I like it. I like it so far for sure. Just need to spend more time in messing around. Big Bro 8439, just welcome. Just tuning in. Have you checked non 4K picture quality? So that's actually what I've watched the most of, but not critically. I basically watched a bunch of YouTube on it. The last couple nights, again after my kiddo went to bed, and I was sitting with my laptop in the living room working on various things. I had some live streams and some YouTube videos and stuff playing, and I wasn't bothered by what I saw. I have seen a bunch of I have seen some references to say that the TCL struggle, the lower the quality of the content, the more that it struggles a little bit to do a good job displaying it. And so, yeah, maybe that's the case. But even still, I haven't watched really much off the TV tuner either, other than just again like a sanity check. So I need more time to kind of fashion some more impressions. You said washed out faces on non-UHD picture quality. QM8 was awful. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Whatever it is, I'm going to live with it again for 6 months and ish. And if I end up wanting to go back to LG, I'll go back to LG. We'll see what the big lineup for 2026 is, or where we go from here. Spliffy saying you'll miss the OLED blacks. Yeah, maybe. Nothing bothered me yet, other than again that just initial kind of like, this looks a little different. It looks a little different, and not in a great way. But I think that's I think the majority of that is based on the size. Size is great, it's impactful, but again, the bigger your size, without increasing resolution and other things, you're going to lose a little bit kind of on the image quality. And actually, if you're watching in the stream here, the picture that I'm sharing is not indicative of like the punch. This picture in my own view window of the stream, it's pretty muted. Like the colors and everything on this picture of Snoopy here on the screen they leave a lot to be desired. It doesn't look like that. So I should say that it's not as washed out or drab as that picture is actually looking. So, but yeah, that's it. So it's there, it's it's big. I'm liking that. I'm liking the menu systems. I'm liking the setup, the command control elements. I do need to get it still on the Control 4 system. So as it is for the moment, I'm controlling my sources and my audio system on Control 4, but I'm using the remote control for the television. As I said, I need Dan. I need my C4 integrator to come by and get the thing enabled. There was a menu setting related to, I think, Control 4 control, or like turning it on. And I need to look at the details. I think I need to look at the details specifically on like IP control and stuff like that. I think it's all there, and there's going to be a way to do it. But I'll validate that is in the near future as well. Hopefully that all works out fine, because I very much would prefer to have it be an IP controlled thing. rather than IR. I'd have to hook up extra wiring and stuff like that. That's one thing I was looking actually. I was trying to look the other day to validate. Does the Halo remote actually emit an IR signal directly from the remote? And it looks like spec wise it does not. Um, if you're going to use IR and Control 4, it has to be from a blaster port off of the controller. Would have been nice if they would have actually put a native IR blaster in the Halo so that you could IR control something in the room in addition to the IR blaster capability of the controller, which should always be there as well. But it would have been doubly nice, I think, if the Halo had its own IR blaster on it, so you could control stuff that you had line of sight to without having to do extra wiring. So, in any case, so that's still to come. Again, we get the Kaleidoscape working on this big boy. Watch some content. Maybe tonight we'll be able to watch a show or some cartoons or something. I do need to get more real content time on it, or play a game, play a level of Hyrule Warriors or something like that tonight. Fire up the PC again. I didn't see anything specifically in the settings where I had to tell it like PC mode, etc. Some televisions do that. I think on the LG, where you do your input management and you tell it what type of source you have, you can select PC and that turns certain stuff on. But on the PC in Windows settings, I had no problem with it, like recognizing 3840 by 2160 as a PC resolution, not as like a video resolution, as a PC resolution, 120 hertz. All of that stuff was working like it's supposed to. And again, with the G-Sync setting turned on, VRR appeared to be working as well. But it'll be a learning experience. I have to check out some of the glare as well. So at different times of day. Yeah, lots to learn, lots to figure out. It's a new platform. It's been 3 years since I've had a new television, and I've never had a TCL before, even though I think I have had a Google TV. I think the Sony X900 was a Google set. But that was more than 3 years ago now that I had that Sony. So I'm sure some things have advanced and changed in the Google TV setup as well. There's voice control. There's the Gemini stuff. Again, I don't expect to use any of that. The Gemini, inquiring with Gemini has more to do with getting answers back that would have to do with like operation or interaction with, I think, the TV OS system itself. And I'm not going to use that. I'm still firmly in the Apple TV camp. So that's what I want to use on it. But again, no problems there with HDR10, Dolby Vision. It was actually indicating to HDR10 plus. So now I have all the formats for whatever HDR10 plus is actually worth. Yeah, Kaleidoscape doesn't do it. So, and I'll still be downloading HDR10 format content to my bigger Terrace server, because I want the native HDR content for the theater room, not the Dolby Vision content being derived into HDR10 for the theater. So, any last comments, questions, or whatnot? I'll give it one more minute. We're going to call it a day here. The family's waiting, get some dinner, and then get on to some full family activities. Who knows? Maybe we will watch Phantom Menace tonight, perhaps, just perhaps. And yeah, we'll be back with more content coming up. Again, the Tableau stuff is coming, more on the TV, and then that server. Get this stuff taken care of all through here, probably the month of December, and maybe this year still. I want to. I still want to do that Ubiquity server or the NAS, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I had a big activity planned for next week, big home theater activity planned for next week, but unfortunately it was canceled on me. I didn't have to cancel, but the event itself was canceled and postponed. So I'm working on a new opportunity and moment for that to happen. So that goes along with some other big announcements and stuff that are still kind of pending to come, that I'm sitting on sitting on a bit. All right, I'm going to call it. If I can help anybody out there with your home theater needs, consulting, advice, guidance, equipment procurement, gear acquisition, all of that stuff, especially in this holiday season, please reach out to me. The contact information is there. It's in every video. It's in every description. Techthusiasm, www.techthusiasm.com. Go or message me directly. Email Jeremy@techthusiasm.net. The webpage, of course, has a whole bunch of information on it. There's a contact form there. I can access all kinds of stuff. Many of the things that I like and use myself, brands and so on, and a whole lot more besides that. I'm starting to be able to get access to some things as well beyond even what some of the listing and stuff shows. So if you like if you like me, if you like the channel, if you like the content, it inspires you, it informs you, it educates you, it introduces you to some things and contents, helps you out, and helps you enjoy your home theater stuff. Please give me a chance to win your business and whatnot. Reach out to me first. Let me know what you're doing, what's going on. Happy to give my kind of honest opinion, advice, and guidance, and all that stuff, and see where you might end up with some cool new toys, especially again for this holiday season. There are, of course, all of the affiliate links down in the description of every video. They are also available on the webpage. Amazon, Target, Walmart, Monoprice, eBay, Audio Advice, Crutchfield. I've got apparel and other miscellaneous stores, even like Home Depot, Dick's. And so on. Please use those in your shopping. Have your wife, spouse, significant other, family member, whoever, click through them as well. That would also be so much appreciated. Simple actions help to really empower the channel, help me do more for you, and bless my family this holiday season as well with cool enablement and opportunities. So all that stuff is there. Again, please reach out. Please use it. Please let me know how I can help you. I want to do my best for you, serve, and all of that. So stick around, and again, content coming, more content coming. We'll be back next Monday, 5 o'clock, for another live. We'll see what the topic is then, and coming back for more home theater discussion and fun. Thanks, everyone.